Mike Fritz in the building. Did you get hit with? Oh, no, you're in Arizona now. You're not in.
Phoenix, baby, man. We're having to wrestle through mid 60s and mid 70s, man.
You escaped.
Oh man, well, my family. We just went back and visited some family members in Michigan, and man, it wasn't snowing there yet. But it's freezing, man. And I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back home.
Yeah, that's cool. Let me close
Yeah,
my door,
man.
Mike.
Yeah, go for it, man. Go for it. Excited. Bam, bam. And you got your records in the back there, man. I love that.
What?
You got those records up on the wall there.
Yeah, my old life, the old Chris Haskins.
Oh, the old Chris Haskins meets the new Chris Haskins, man.
It's weird, like I read about, Russell Brunson, the hero's journey. He has to go through something to learn.
Yeah, yeah, man. I tell you what, our journey is important. It's how we get here, why we get here. Even that plays a role to how you're here, why you do what you do, and the vision you have to help people with financial income and literacy. I mean, that's one of the right. And so our journey is valuable, man.
That's right. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. Yeah.
What's that?
Thanks for taking the time out of your day, Mike.
So thankful to be here, Chris. Always, anytime I get to hang out with your people and you and talk real estate, it's a good day, man. It's such a good day.
Yeah. You're in Arizona. So round up. Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody. Christmas Eve. This is so cool. I called up Mike the other day. I'm like, you know what? I bet there's some people that probably weren't able to come check you out on the last time you were here that might be interested in learning more about the multifamily housing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chris Haskins. My mission and ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. Doing that, I get to hang out with some winners. One of the winners is going to be Mike Fritz. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm doing so good. I love this time of year. Love Christmas. Love connecting with people. And of course, it's a little bit different right now, but still love connecting with people, even virtually, seeing what everybody's up to. So I love this time of year, man. It's good to see you again, always.
Yeah, you on stage a lot pre-COVID, right?
Pre-COVID, that was my life, man, was the stage and live audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I had a blast traveling over 39 states and a couple countries, speaking and sharing leadership.
Wow, that is so cool. That is cool. So round up today, as we approach the holidays, I figured it, you know what? Let's go ahead and give you as much value as we can. Mike offers his stuff, or he does what he does on his own Multifamily CEO. But when he's here, thank God I get to work with him, and he gets to work on these Christmas specials strictly for my Roundup family. So, Mike Fritz, let's talk about some multifamily stuff. How did we get here? Give me the very quick background on you.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what. I fell in love with multifamily. My first multifamily deal was a unique one in that right when I got married young. And my first deal was I was 20 years old. I was a builder, launched my construction business age 19, and my parents asked them to help me get a loan. They helped me get a loan. They basically signed on it for me. I built a duplex nights and weekends. I mean, I was a grinder, man. I just went after it. Built a duplex, and I started. And my wife and I got married. We got married at 20, so we got married really young. But here's what happened. Why I began to love multifamily real estate is because we moved into half of that, rented out the other half, and I lived for $100 a month in a brand new place. And I'll tell you, man, how they call that house hacking. If you haven't heard,
that's on steroids. Built,
house
hacking
it
to another level.
And so, but the benefit of that, anybody can do that and just buy a duplex, buy a 3 or 4 unit, buy something, use that. One of those units as your housing, frees up a lot of revenue where you can then buy more assets, right? It's the only time Robert Kiyosaki talks about your house not actually being an asset, right? He always calls it a liability, but you can make it an asset by doing some house hacking first, and where it's generating revenue and giving you more money to invest in real estate or whatever you're passionate about. For us, we knew I wanted multifamily real estate because I wanted revenue coming in every single month, because I see so many people. This is where it really, the rubber met the road for me. And Chris, you can kick in too on this with real estate, is where the rubber met the road for me is I see so many people that can't follow their dreams because they don't have the money to do it. And I said,
Yeah.
or they have to spend most of their life at a job. And I said, you know what? I want to at least give it a whirl and say, can I create enough monthly revenue with real estate so I don't have to have a job and I can go fulfill my mission? For me, that's making that's making the love of God known, making financial interest available to all people, no matter their race, religion, size, or gender. I want everybody to have access to some of the greatest content in the world. A lot of times, the wealth gap we see in America, it isn't even because of opportunity; it's because of information. People can't get access to the information that Chris is sharing, right?
Strategy. Yeah.
And so, opportunities out there, but nobody knows. Some people don't know how to get it. And I said, I want to help 10,000 people create financial freedom through multifamily real estate investing. And when I launched down that road, it's been a blessing to be able to share these tactics of how do you actually first find deals? How do you find that? Then how do you find the money? Because multifamily, that sticker price can be pretty intimidating. You walk up to a building and instead of 30,000, you see 700,000 now, and they're not always that big, but you see that sticker price and you're like, that must be for the rich people. I'm here to tell you that is not true.
Nice.
It is not only for the rich people. It's for anybody who understands the info. You know what I mean?
That is so cool, Mike. Thanks for sharing that.
And it's I mean, you and I talk about this all the time. I mean, we were just talking about a minute ago in your previous life, how is real estate giving you the freedom to spend time with that little one that just joined your family this year and your kids, right? Helping your daughter start her first business, which I saw this year. And right, I mean, it's such a power, right? It's such a powerful thing to learn.
It is a powerful thing. I'm a single family guy. That's why I like hanging out with you, because you think a little differently on the multifamily. Just another zero, to be honest with you, from what you're explaining.
Yeah, it's exactly it. It's exactly it. And I think a lot of times we drive by apartment buildings, we see these big 300 unit apartment buildings or whatever, these huge, like, man, that's just never for me. Let me tell you, the real estate game is risen and or lowered by the quality of your mindset. And I know that sounds so trite and so like, okay, Mike, another mindset talk. I believe, hear me when I say this. The only thing that keeps you from buying $40,000, $50,000 homes to $700,000 multifamilies, it's just your mind. That's the only difference. I'm telling you, it's it. You get this thing expanded to 700,000, all of a sudden you'll be like, million ain't that far away. Wow. All I got to do is raise. I mean, if I'm going to raise, I got to find a way to raise another 70 grand on the front end and I can go to $1 million. Okay. Well, then and all of a sudden it's just a mindset game. It's a mindset game, right? It's like I play, one of my favorite hobbies is golf. And I used to think, man, to break 80, I'd never break 80. Well, then once you start breaking 80, that's kind of becomes your plumb line. It's like, well, man, how do I get into low 70s? How do I get? And it's the same thing with real estate. Once you go to 100,000, then you go to 250 and then 400 and then 800. And all of a sudden that becomes your new plumb line. That's when that mindset shifts. So today, my biggest passion is to help just expand that mind a little bit, enough to let enough multifamily in to change your life.
It's weird. I remember hanging out with Ronald Grand, and he was like, you know what, Chris, I don't even touch a house under 250. It's just not a good use of my time and resources. When I first heard that years ago, I'm like, man, this dude's crazy.
It's so true.
I'm like, you crazy. I'm buying a house, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm like, what's the purchase price? 90. I'm like, that's it?
Yeah, exactly.
90 grand. That's literally nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And then you got a guy like Ron the Grand flying in on his private jet. He might know a thing or two, right?
No, I mean, I'm like, I guess we all have our resistance to ideas, philosophies, ideologies. I'm like, it's 250 is the purchase price, or 350 is the purchase price now. So it's like, he was right. And I'm thinking about you expanding your mentality, man. God, I really think it's about who you listen to and who you're around, Mike.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll give you a side benefit. I'll give you just side content I wasn't even going to share today. 3 ways to change your mindset to be able to buy bigger properties. Number 1 is proximity. You got to get closer to people that are better than you. You got to get around people that make you. Dan Kennedy, in true Dan Kennedy fashion, used to say you need to be the dumbest person in every room. So the number 1 thing is proximity. You got to get around people. Don't hang out with your broke friends. Can I say that just clearly? Stop hanging out with your broke friends. Hang out with your friends that don't have time because they're out making things happen. Those are the people you want to go out to dinner with. Right? You want to go out to dinner with the people that you have to schedule out 2 weeks in advance, not the one that can drop and don't have anything going. That's who you want to hang out with. You know what I mean? And so the first thing is proximity. You got to get next to people that are better than you. Number two is you have to brainwash yourself. And here's what I mean. We live in a negative world that implants obstacles rather than opportunity. Meaning when you see something you could do, like multifamily, you hear something like Chris and I are talking about, and you automatically think, yeah, but here's why I can't do this. I don't have the money. I don't have the deals. My family's never been wealthy, or anything in between. Whatever you come up with, all of a sudden our brain thinks obstacle instead of opportunity. That happens because we live in a negative world. You know, when you were 5 years old and you said, I want to be a musician and play my music, you had a teacher say, not too many people make money doing that. And all of a sudden your brain starts to get trained. We need to brainwash ourselves. Okay. That's the second thing. And number three, and you, by the way, the way you brainwash yourselves is by books and content.
I love it.
Readers are readers, and you got to listen to more Chris's content. You got to listen to podcasts. You got to brainwash out this junk. Tony Robbins said success is 80% mindset, 20% strategy.
Wow.
or tactics. And that's the difference, right? And when he said that, I thought, you know what? That's true real estate. You know, the only real estate really is 80% mindset.
Can it be done?
Mechanics.
Can it be done? How about if we were to blank?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great, can it be done versus how can it be done? Only 3 letters changes the entire mindset, right? Yeah, exactly. So proximity, brainwashing, and number 3, direct mentorship. Direct mentorship. That's somebody that's specifically in your life helping you work through the navigate. Here's the thing. I was listening to, here's why I think everybody in the world needs a coach. I was listening to Michael Jordan speak one time, and I'm a basketball fan. I love sports. And Michael Jordan was saying the reason he was so good was because of Phil Jackson, which was his coach on the Chicago Bulls. He said, you know, when I'm dribbling down the court, Phil can say, hey, Michael, every time you go left, you quick step right. You're telling the defense where you're going. Stop thinking that quick step right and just go left. And Michael said, that's stuff I can't see. Now, then he said something like this. Do you think I could beat Phil Jackson one-on-one? Of course. But the best basketball player on the planet, maybe of all time, said he needed a coach.
That's crazy.
So I'm thinking for real estate, Mike Fritz probably needs a coach.
That's funny when you mentioned it. It's funny you mentioned it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that proximity, brainwashing, and mentorship. And what do you think, Chris? Has that shaped you over time as well?
You know, we didn't plan on doing mindset, but I think people would like to hear it. I think the hardest one is that proximity. Like when I'm in the room with some boss dogs, I don't feel comfortable. I feel like, man, I'm a piece of crap, man. I'm like walking in the room. These dudes are doing it.
Yep.
You know, and then when I walk in there, I'm like, golly, I know I got to step my game up. So I feel like I want people to know that you're going to be uncomfortable as hell rolling with these boss dogs. They're going to make you feel like an ant, right? Well, let me change it. That's how I feel when I'm like, man, I need to raise my G up. So I don't want people to think that they're going to be walking in the room. Hey, what up, Chris? What up, my friend? Ain't none of that, man. These dudes game on 1,000. Like, what you doing? Where we going?
Yep, exactly. That's a really great point, Chris, because I think everybody goes through that when you start hanging out with them. You start judging your beginning by somebody else's middle. Wow. You start comparing your beginning to their middle or maybe even their end. Don't compare your day 1 to somebody else's day 30 years.
Yeah, man.
And a lot of times that happens. I did that when I was a speaker and I went to these speaking events and I saw people speaking on hundreds of stages a year and the biggest. And I'm like, I'm speaking at a couple local events trying to build my business. And I'm like, man, I'm nothing until I realized
that's that resistance.
Bingo.
That's that resistance. Like, I don't want to do.
Yep.
That resistance is big, Mike.
Yeah, that's a real big point. And the reason we start here is because I'm going to teach you how to do multifamily today. I'm going to walk you through a deal that I actually am doing right now. We close on it this week. How I found it, how I funded it. That's the strategy. But without this mindset, you'll always bump up against your mindset when you go to make an offer on a deal or ask somebody for private money. You always bump up against your mindset and it won't let you do it. And so that's why we want to start here. We got to reshape the most valuable piece of real estate in the world is the piece of real estate between your ears. Yeah. And that's what you got to buy first. Doesn't cost any. Sometimes it costs a little bit of money. You got to invest in this, some books and some trainings. And you got to, I mean, over the years, the amount of money I've spent on books, trainings, courses, coaches. Oh my word.
I don't even tell them buy a village. I don't even tell them what you told me before we got on here.
Oh.
You're paying more for coaching than houses. It's crazy.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not as much. My mortgage is, I just hired a team to help me with some of my online marketing that is probably 3 times what my house payment is. You know what I mean? And so, and because they know something I don't.
Mhm.
And so I'm willing to put my
Oh,
money kind of where people always say, put your money where your mouth is. I always say, put your money where your heart is. And the reason I
oh, yeah.
say that is because a lot of you want to do things you haven't told anybody. You want to do things. Put your money, bet on yourself, but you gotta be willing to put in the push-ups. Jim Rohn, you say you can't hire somebody to do your push-ups for you. We got to still do the push-ups, right? We
Yeah.
still got to do the push-ups and get out and work it out. But I'm gonna teach you the strategy today, but we got to fix this piece of real estate before we never get the $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 piece of multifamily.
Yeah, every Christmas present you buy, I want to see you better buy some books. My wife's buying these gifts. I'm like, okay, all these gifts, I need to see all these books. Every gift, gift,
Get the
book.
book. But you know what's funny? My mom always asks me, all right, Mike, what's on your Christmas list? I give her a big old list of books.
Books.
She gives me one book because she just doesn't see. She's like, well, they're not that valuable. And I'm like,
What?
oh man, give me all, just give me books.
I'll
Just give me
take them
books.
all. I'll take them all.
Oh man, she's great. She's great. No, I love it. I love it. Because
Round
books
up.
are, it's just changed our lives, right?
Yep.
For
Let me
20
reintroduce.
bucks, you get somebody's brain?
I think that, you have to graduate to understand that concept.
Oh, geez.
Understand that concept.
Yeah, I'm
Round up, we
telling you,
got
man.
Mike Fritz here today. We got 70 people on here. He's going to be talking about multifamily, going over a deal, and he's going to bless us with a Christmas special with his stuff. Right now on my website, everything is 50% off. All my training at chrishaskins.com. We've been on here 15 minutes, Mike, with Mindset. I think people liked it. The 70 people still here.
Good. That's good. I'm telling you, it's where it's at. Man, that tells me you've been training your people well. Because let me tell you, I used to scoff at mindset.
Me
I used
too,
to,
dude.
I used to be like, dude, stop with the mindset. Tell me what to do. Until I realized there was a reason those more successful people than me were talking about mindset.
That's weird, isn't it? That's weird.
It's like Tony Robbins spends his whole career talking about mindset rather than strategy. I'm like, why? Now I realize why. That's why that man's worth $450 million rather than I mean, that's why he's changed so many people's lives. It's He's lost count, right? Because he talks about what's going on between that head.
Cool. So, Mike, let's see. So, we want to start first. We want to start with your deal, or you want to start with some background?
Let's talk a little bit. Let's just talk a little bit about why, and you could all be into single family or fix and flips or wholesale or whatever kind of real estate you're in. Maybe you haven't ventured into this multifamily space. Let me tell you why I'm passionate about multifamily. This isn't to say single family is bad or anything. This is just why I hone in on multifamily. Number one, there's something in multifamily called it's kind of the highest and best use kind of principle. But here's what that means is on a footprint of property, there's multiple units, right? So if one of your tenants moves out, you still have people paying the bills, right? On a single family, I own some single family homes as well. And when people move out, that property stops making money. It stops day one. And the thing I love about multifamily is it puts more tenants in there. That gives me the ability to make more money per purchase. And here's the thing: when you buy a piece of real estate, if you're going to get a bank, you gotta sign all the papers, you got to do an appraisal, you got to do an inspection, you got to do all this stuff. Well, if you have to do all that work, no matter if it's 1 unit or 40 units. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm like, let's scale out to something bigger. The only difference between being able to buy a bigger multifamily or a single family is your ability to raise money. And that's why I talk about private money so much. Chris and I talk about it because it's changed our real estate lives, the ability to connect with private lenders or private, we call them equity partners, where they put a piece of money in and they get a portion of the deal. Mm-hmm. And those partners, I'm telling you, there is so much cash out there chasing real estate. If you were just to get out there and start talking to people that you're a real estate investor, investing in multifamily, money will start following you. You got to put your money where your heart is, but which means, if you're saying you're real estate, then you got to be putting in the push-ups, meaning going out, talking to lenders and talking to your private investors. But that's one of the reasons I love multifamily is you get multiple streams of revenue for one footprint of property. Number two is what I call forced appreciation. It's not my term. So when I say people know that. So when you get above 5 units in multifamily, the bank sees that as a commercial piece of real estate. And what that means is the bank looks at it like a business rather than a piece of real estate. So that means when you raise the income, meaning you raise the rents, the building is worth more. So you go into a building that has 100 unit, and or let's say it's a 5 unit and it's $100 a month low on rents. You raise all those units up $100. That's an extra $500 a month. That's an extra $6,000 a year. The bank will now see your building is worth more money. That's why it's called forced appreciation. Gotcha. Forced appreciation, meaning you get to, I always say, you get to dictate the speed limit of appreciation. Rather than the market telling you it's worth more, you get to decide it's worth more. So that's the second reason I love multifamily. So the first reason is the more units per footprint of property. Second reason is forced appreciation. And third reason, we in the United States are becoming a renter nation. More and more people are becoming renters. And even as COVID wraps up and we finally see people come to the end and they can't hold the bank off any longer and they do lose their homes, sadly, it's going to thrust more renters into the market, making apartments an even greater demand. And so it's one of the more recession resistant. It's not recession proof. It's recession resistant, meaning when the economy goes down in 2008, 2009, when the economy went down, multifamily, it lost its value, but it kept its cash flow every single month because more people were made renters. Cash flow. And that's the power of multifamily. So more units per footprint of property, forced appreciation, and it's recession resistant. There's more, but those are one of the ways the reasons I love multifamily real estate. So, and this is why I think you should too.
That forced appreciation piece, Mike, is that something that you learn with experience? Do you read books about it? I mean, obviously you got some tricks of the trade.
Yeah, absolutely. So forced appreciation is something that all it is when you raise the value, when you raise the income or decrease the expenses. There's something in multifamily called NOI, or net operating income. And the net operating income is simply your income minus your expenses. When you can increase your NOI by either decreasing your expenses or increasing your income, the value of your building goes up. Now, how much your building goes up will depend on your market. It'll depend on if you're buying in a market that nobody wants to be in, it'll raise it. It just won't raise it very much. But if you're in a Lexington, Kentucky right now is booming, it's Charlotte, North Carolina, Dallas, Atlanta, Tennessee, even some places in Virginia are popping right now. You get some of these markets, man, and they go up. Indianapolis is a Midwestern market that's just crushing it right now. And you raise those rents and your building really can go up. And I don't want to get into everything like cap rate and all that kind of stuff today, but that's how it'll throw everybody off. But the idea there, the banks will understand this, and the appraisers understand this. When the income goes up, you get to see a higher value of your building. For example, I just bought the building I'm going to go over today. The person bought it, raised it. He bought it for about $900,000. He just sold it to me for $1.2 million. $300,000, and he upped the rent. Now, and the reason I'm buying it is because there's room to raise the rent even more, and I'm gonna experience that next spike of appreciation. Wow. And that's the power of multifamily real estate. It's one of my very favorite reasons. And so that's why I love multifamily, and why I think everybody should. And keep your questions and comments cranking. Oh, yeah. Chris will start popping those out too, so that as I go through the presentation, Chris will start shooting those questions out to me as well.
Mike, I know. Well, let me ask you. People may think, well, I know in my town, multifamily is extremely limited where I'm at.
Yeah.
So sure. Tell me about that.
Yep. So good question. So let's say where you live, multifamily is either hard to find or it's a terrible place to buy multifamily. Right? Because you might live in a place that's not very good. When you're buying and holding real estate, you can fix and flip and wholesale anywhere. But when you're buying to hold a piece of real estate, you want to make sure you do that in a really good city. And let me tell you this, the worst criteria for where to invest in real estate is because you live there. And because that might not be the best place, especially multifamily, might not be the best place to live. So you're saying, but what if there's in my area, it's really limited? I own zero real estate where I live, other than my primary residence. Wow. All of my multifamily is in other states, and all I simply need is a really good property manager. That's all you need. And that property manager handles any repairs that need to be done, all my accounting, they figure that out. Money just shows up in my account every month. I get a report, and I sometimes visit the properties. My properties in in Southwest Michigan, I haven't seen some of those properties in 3 years, but they've been paying me every month. And so if it's limited where you live, go outside. Some of you should not invest where you live. I'm just going to go out and say it. If you invest in New York City, don't invest there. If you live in New York City, don't buy multifamily there. It's so hard to make multifamily successful in New York City, Boston, LA, any of the Californias, any of those areas. It's really tough because it's so inflated in price, and it's a really tenant-friendly state, meaning tenants in New York City can stay, especially with COVID. They can stay in your unit for a year to 2 without ever paying you any rent. And that's just not right. It's just not right. And I don't want to see any of you invest there and get that experience.
I couldn't imagine that now, Mike. I'm like, I would be out of it, you know?
Yeah, we all would be out of business. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Exactly. Absolutely. So you don't have to invest where you live. You don't have. In fact, I'll tell you this. Here's how do you choose to where invest in multifamily. Follow jobs.
Darn, I'm losing you, Mike.
You losing me?
He was getting ready to drop some jewels. Round up, hold tight. Well, I lost Mike. But did y'all lose Mike too? Let me check on here.
I'm here, Chris. Can you hear me? Can you guys still hear me? I can hear. I can see all you all out there. You can still hear me. I don't know if Chris is going to come back in. We can hear. I hear both of you. Okay, let me. So Chris might come back in shortly here. Let's see if he doesn't. Still here. Great. Zoom. Yeah. Yes, we hear. Yes. Okay. Good. Good. If you guys are all there, I'm gonna keep crushing, and then good. And now, even if you've already said yes, I think you all can hear me. Good. That's good. Chris is probably going to come back in just a minute. He's going to come back in any minute here. And so I'll keep talking. The few ways you choose a multifamily market. So when you're looking at choosing a multifamily market, where do I invest in? Maybe I don't invest where I live. Here's what you do. You follow jobs and landlord-friendly areas. Jobs and landlord-friendly areas. So if you just do nothing in multifamily, but follow jobs and you follow the landlord-friendly areas, you're going to have a successful multifamily experience. Because what drives population growth is jobs, unless it's a retirement community. So be careful investing in retirement communities because a lot of them are on fixed incomes. But if you want to go after people that if you want to go after, I got Chris text me. I want to make sure I'm going to tell him I'm good. Okay. So I just told him I'm good to come back in. Yeah, Chris, hopefully Chris will come back in here. Hang on just a second. Hey buddy, how you doing? Oh, your internet went out. Okay. All right. Well, I still have everybody and I'm still cranking. Can you come right back in, or what do you want me to do? All right. All right. See you. So Chris lost internet. He's going to be back with us in a minute. He's just going to quick reset his router and he's going to pop right back in. So when you're going after multifamily markets, you want to focus on job growth and population growth, but usually those two go together. Just make sure it's not a retirement community. And landlord-friendly areas. This is why, like the Carolinas, Tennessee, Texas, honestly, Southeast, Atlanta, Georgia's great, Florida's great, Alabama's good. Hey, there he is. What's up?
We're back. Yeah, it came on. Hit the lights, Bubba.
Yeah,
did it. Thank you.
Yeah, we lost, man. I thought you when you said you lost me, I'm like, crap. Then everybody said they could hear, so we just kept the party going, man.
That's cool.
Good to have you back. So anyway, so you want to follow those job growth and you want to follow landlord-friendly areas. So the Carolinas, Florida, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Alabama, Virginia's good. Indiana's fantastic. That's why Indianapolis is good. And so those are some good. Phoenix is good. Arizona's a pretty good area to own. So you want to look at areas that are really landlord-friendly and job growth. Those are the two like keys to investing in multifamily. So what I'm going to do now, though, I'm going to switch over now to just show you a deal, because this is the way I see people learn. I just show them exactly how I did a deal, and then you guys can just learn, look over my shoulder. I'll walk you through a deal, show you pictures of it and all that kind of stuff. Sound good?
Yeah, man, this is cool.
You good with that, Chris, man?
Can't wait to
all
see
right,
this.
dude. Let me share
You tell me when to
screen.
bring it in.
All right, I am sharing here. Go for it, man. I'm bringing it in. I got it up. You got it all good?
Yep, looks good.
All right. So this is the deal that I just am in the middle of. I'm closing. Actually, I'm not in the middle of. I close on December 31st. I close 7 days from today. Just got the word from the bank. Everything's good and going through. And so this is a deal that I am really, really excited about because of its upside. So it's a beautiful 8 unit that's actually a 16 unit, because we're renting it out per room, because it's right next to the Notre Dame campus.
Is that new roof and siding and windows and everything?
Yeah, it's brand new everything, man. So the guy that bought it redid a lot of the structure. And so and the inside, wait till I show you some interior pictures, which I don't have in this presentation, but I'm going to show you in a minute. Some interior pictures that is just in fact, is the presentation still up for them all to see, Chris?
Yeah, I can bring it down.
No. Don't bring it down. I'm going to
show. How many beds and baths are each?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to show you.
8. Good.
Yeah, so it's an 8. It's an 8. Let's see, there it is. So it's an 8. It's a 8 unit, 2 bed, 2 bath.
2 bed.
So I actually have a different presentation here, Chris. Can you pull this one up that I have on the screen now?
I see a living room.
Yeah, good. Okay, so these are 8 fully furnished apartments.
Okay. So
it's beautiful furnishing, though.
Now, is that the furnishing there, or is that virtual staging there?
No, that's all. I took these pictures with my phone.
Okay, so you're there. Gotcha.
Yeah, I was there. This is when I was there.
That's a nice light fixtures, dog.
Yo, beautiful area. Beautiful.
That's sweet.
And cherry cabinets, stainless steel appliances, beautiful bedrooms, granite countertops.
Sweet.
And so that's this deal. So I'm going to pull up the other presentation again, Chris.
Okay. Yep. Got you.
Go for it. There we go. So that's what the inside looks like. Again, this is for high-end Notre Dame graduate students. And so we're renting. So currently a unit like this in this area would go for about $1,300 a month. That's
a 2-bedroom.
A 2-bed, 2-bath. It's 2-bed, 2-bath would go for $1,300 to $1,500 a month.
Good
because
gracious.
We're renting this out to Notre Dame students, we're getting about $1,900 a month.
Holy
and so massive difference, right? And so here's why I'm buying this building. Only half of them have been switched over to student housing. The other half are still rented in that $1,000 range. So as their leases come up, we've told them we're taking back the units, and they understand that. They're getting ready to exit, or they'll have to pay the higher rent. And we're moving those over to student housing, and we're going to be able to go from about $1,000 to $1,100 up to $1,900 a month in rent. This is why I bought this building.
Now, the condition of the ones with the current tenants, I'm presuming, are nowhere close to this.
No, they're all the exact same.
Okay.
So they what they did is they took 4 units, they renovated them, they moved those tenants to those units, then renovated the other ones.
Gotcha. So they're okay. Wow.
Yeah,
gotcha.
It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So this is really, really. So this property, here's just a walk through this deal. I want to talk to you first about how I found it, how I funded it, now how I operate it, and how much I personally actually make from this deal. Okay. This is how because I want you to see my actual numbers. This is not fake numbers. These are actually what I'm making.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's how I,
did I lose you?
Yeah, I have, okay. So I'm going to stay right here. Somehow the slide of how I found it got deleted. So that's okay. I'm going to just talk through how I found it. So how I found it is I have what I call inside of my teaching a property profile. What that means is I draw out exactly what kind of property I'm looking for, and I give that to as many real estate agents as I can. So what that means is I'm looking for a X number unit in this price range in this area. And I get that. I send that to as many real estate agents in that area as I can. And I have as many, I call them bird dogs, as many bird dogs out there looking for this type of property. So how I found this is I had agents that had this property profile, and it crossed their desk. I got an email. Hey, Mike, this looks like a great deal for you. So I look through it. Not only does it look like a great deal for me, we're buying the deal. Why did that happen to me? Because I built a property profile. So for you, you might say, I'm looking for duplexes in the $200,000 range in whatever, Cincinnati, Ohio, wherever you live. And so you build that out and you get that to as many people as you can. What's that, Chris?
No, I'm thinking wherever you want. Yeah, you're Atlanta, Georgia,
wherever you at, right? And so the whole point is get that property. And a lot of people don't go through the effort to do this, but there's something in marketing we call TOMA, TOMA, top of mind awareness. And when you're trying to find deals, it's like you're a marketer. And so you have to start thinking, how do I remain top of mind to all the real estate agents? So when a property crosses their desk, they think of me first. That's how you have to start thinking. And so that's how I started thinking. And I got this property profile to as many agents as I can. One of those agents I'm still working with now. This will be our third deal together. And they are, because they have my property profile. So how did I find it? I laid out the price range and what I'm looking for, put it in as many hands as I could. They came to, and then whoever brings me the deal gets the business. And so that's how I found this deal. And that's how a lot of you can start finding deals. Now, so that's how I found it. Question now, a lot of ask, how did I fund it? Okay.
How does that look, Mike? Is that a document or is that an email that goes out?
Yeah, that is literally, sometimes I will make, now this is me personally. If you haven't done a deal, you don't do this. I'll just put something together with a couple of pictures of the deals I've done with an outline of what I'm looking for. So I'll make it a little bit, but I won't make it like, I won't have a designer make it all sexy. I haven't gone that far, although that might be a good idea. But my thing is that if you start off, it can just be an email.
Yep.
And I even call it that. Hey, I'm really excited to work with you. Here's really what I call my property profile. I'm really looking for this number of units in this area blank. Do you know of anything available in that fits that criteria? Good. Just by putting that email out, that starts as an email, but it can, as you do a deal or two, you can take those pictures, put it on a sheet, and then do it that way as well. That's a great question. And then, so now how did I fund it? So the first thing I did is I raised private money. So I raised private money for about a third of it.
Now, I raised private money for. Go ahead. Just make sure we understand what that is, Mike.
Yeah. So private money is I found a private lender, actually not a lender, an equity partner. I found somebody that had some capital. I said, if you put money into this deal, I'll give you a percentage of the equity. And they take a percentage of the equity. Now that can be anywhere from 50 to 70%, depending on how much they put in. They put in 100% of this deal. They did this deal outright. So I gave them a little bit more equity. And so that equity can swing from 50 to 70. I like to start at 70. And then once we sell it and our equity goes to 50-50 on any profits we make after they get their seed money back. So this is really beneficial to the investor because you're getting the investor even more equity than you have. And that sets you apart from much of the competition, especially in smaller multifamily. So I raised private money. Now, again, there's two types of private money I have found: private lenders and equity partners. And even inside those, they can vary a little bit. But a private lender is somebody that lends you money, just like a bank, but it's a private person, not a bank. And Chris, I think you've used a lot of private lenders as well, haven't you?
I live and die by my private lenders, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. And so in multifamily, the way we work is we do private equity partners. They put money in, we give them a piece of the equity, and they get to share on the upside. Meaning, if we sell it and it makes money, they get to share in that as well. So they really make really good return. So I raised from private equity money. I raised it. And by the way, how I found that person, I was doing a podcast and doing a program much like this, and somebody was on there and they said, what does it look like to invest in your deal? They connect with me through email. We start having a conversation. They end up becoming one of my lenders. It can happen 1.5 million different ways. It's not just like it can happen that way. It can happen because you reach out to a friend, say, hey, I'm buying a piece of real estate. You interested in going in on this with me? It can be anything in between. But raising private money is one of the most powerful skills in the world in real estate. You know what I
I'm
mean?
gonna be quiet. I'm just like, yeah, I don't even want to. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
But again, Chris, to your point though, I mean, it's changed your real estate life, correct?
I'm just like, I wouldn't even. There would be no Chris Haskins. There
Mm,
would be
mm,
literally there would be no Chris Haskins
yeah,
without private money. The people, they believe in me, and I think the key Mike said is the relationship that you built. That I think as you become a high level entrepreneur, you master recruiting people. So that's a form of
totally.
recruiting.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. And by the way, there's something called in multifamily, I call it the law of the first deal. Once you do a deal, it becomes 50 times easier to raise money.
That's all real
Once you
estate,
do,
man. Yeah,
yeah, it's all real estate. It is. It is. But I just because I live multifamily, that's the way I think about it. But you do that first deal, the second and third deal, it becomes actually so easy that you come to a point where you're overfunded. You have more money than you have deals to put it in.
yep.
And I know that might seem weird to you now, but it's not. You just have to do it long enough and do it the right way.
There you go.
So I raised private money for about a third of the project, and then I went to get the bank. The bank lent me 75% loan to value. So whatever the property cost, they're going to give me 75% of it. And so I need the 25% down payment. I need money for inspections, appraisals, closing costs. And then there's this little thing called an acquisition fee I'm going to talk about in a minute. And that's actually how you can get paid to raise money. I'm going to share that with you in a minute. And then the bank money. Then I go to get the 75% from the bank. But here's the key piece: zero of my own money. I own this project in 7 days, and I put $0 into it.
Nice.
In fact, I made a lot of money putting this deal together, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Because a lot of people think, yeah, but you buy multifamily and then you only make the money per month. But flipping, I get 20 grand right away. Well, what if you could do that with multifamily and keep the monthly revenue? I'll teach you how to do that.
Cool.
So here's what this deal looks like. The purchase price was $1.2 million for this project. So I needed about $350,000 to close on this project. That was the down payment, closing costs, inspection, appraisals, and this thing called an acquisitions fee. An acquisitions fee is where you can charge the investor for you finding the deal, finding the lender, knowing the broker, putting the property manager in place. You should be getting paid for all that. And you can. It's actually people that know about investing in multifamily and do it regularly, they expect it, because that's how we make our money to put food on the table. That's actually how most businesses are funded that are in multifamily full-time by the acquisition fee. And then the monthly revenue is it's simply icing on the cake. So your acquisition fee is actually something you can charge. And I encourage you, when you start off, charge about 1% of 1 to 2% of the sale price. If you're 1%, 2 to 3% is pretty average. 4% is a little high, and some of the big dogs charge 4%. I'm in the 2 to 3 range, but when you're first starting off, do it at 1%. So you make what, $12,000 by putting this deal together. Now I have a flat fee now, and I'll show you how I did that. So I needed to raise $350,000 to fund this project. So now I'm going to tell you how much I made in a minute on all this thing, and now how I operate it. I have a property manager in this area that manages everything. About 3 weeks before we close, I'm getting them all the leases, getting them all the documents, getting them prepped on everything where we're at, and say, this is where we're at on the project, and this is how we are going to move forward. I'm meeting with them. And as soon as the property closes, that means they're ready to hit the ground and go. So if you're investing in an area you've never invested in before, then one of the first things you can do when you put an offer in on a place and it gets accepted is start calling property managers day one. Start interviewing, getting a property manager. So as you're getting close to close, you can have them ready to pick up the baton and no balls get dropped. Mm-hmm. So I like to get them set up ahead of time. And you can, I actually have a video on my YouTube on how to pick a property manager, questions to ask during the interview process. But the point is, you want to have a property manager in place. I'm not going to manage it, but I'm going to get paid by it every month. So here's how much I'll actually make on this project. I charged a $30,000 flat acquisition fee so that's about 3% on this one, but I charged a $30,000 acquisition fee. That means the day we close, I'm going to make 30 grand. I'm going to get a $30,000 check. And this asset management fee, I get $250 a month for managing the asset. That means just by managing the property manager, because when the property manager has a question, they have to call somebody, and you should be charging an asset management fee. So I'm going to make
Man,
$250 a month on an asset management fee, and my equity is going to be about $1,000 a month on this project. So I'm going to make $1,250 a month, and I'm going to get $30,000 day one.
oh, that's sweet.
That's how much money I put into this deal. That's how much money. Goose egg, zero. No my pocket. My bank account looks the same day one as it does day 50. I put in $0. And so that being said, this is why I want all of you to see the power of multifamily, that you don't have to have millions of dollars in your bank to go do a deal. You can go raise it, and you can actually charge your investors. Now, if you're doing your very first deal and it's just your friend, you guys are doing a duplex together, you may not charge that acquisition fee on your first deal. Get a deal under your belt, but then start charging it on deal 2, 3, 4, because get that first deal under your belt. Okay, that makes sense. Maybe even 2 deals. But this is what you want to do, because that means you could start actually making money from the process of raising money, finding the lender, finding the broker, finding the manager. You should be paid for that.
You opened my eyes with that one, Mike. I'm thinking, it's weird. We do all this stuff being real estate entrepreneurs, right? You look back, it's like, man, that's just what I do.
Yeah.
Not even charging the way you have quantified it and made it to where, listen, this is a fee, it's like all the stuff you did. You're absolutely right. It's so much value you're bringing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Where else are they going to be able to get 14, 16, 18, 30% returns? Are they going to do that in the stock market? I don't think so.
Nowhere.
Safely. And so you're offering a massive value. And that's one of the things I did early on in my career. I undervalued the value I brought to the table.
I think we all do that.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. But I didn't value myself in saying, like, because I had an investor ask me one time, they questioned my acquisition fee, and they said, well, isn't your equity, isn't the money you get every month for that? I said, no.
That's just owning it.
That's just owning it. That's exactly what I said. I said, that's my equity for being an owner. But what I get paid for is I talked to my broker I talked to him about 30 deals before I picked this one. That took a lot of time. I talked to my property manager. I talked to my lender. I'm always in contact with my lenders. And it took me years. Yeah. It took me years to build this network. I should be paid for that time and that effort. And so should you, by the way.
What you're doing is managing. It's like you just have to graduate, get out of that earn round up. And Mike is hitting something big here for me. It took me years to understand earning versus managing. Earning, exactly managing. Right. So Mike's getting paid.
So huge, man. So huge. So that's how much I made. So what Chris and I did was we started talking about, okay, it's Christmas. How can we help people? And so we started talking about something we could put together that could help people bust into multifamily as quick as possible. And so I actually just had a student call me and said, after they took the training, they just landed an 8 unit, not this one, and they're making over $2,000 a month. Just after taking this training, they're generating $2,000 a month because they busted into their first multifamily deal. Now, this person didn't raise private money. They had some equity in their home and they got into a piece. I helped them get the property, and now they're making a couple grand a month.
Nice.
And so Chris and I started talking. We're like, let's get this stuff to people. So in the next few minutes, I'm just going to walk through the roundup package we put for a Christmas special for you guys.
Christmas, yes.
Oh man, believe me, Merry Christmas. I wish that if I would have known this stuff 20 years ago, I'd be flying my private plane to hang out with Chris. And Chris would be flying his private plane to hang out with me, because I'm telling you, man, this stuff took me years to learn. And so it's called the Multifamily CEO. The reason it's titled that is multifamily real estate can finally put you back in touch with being the CEO of your life. You get to dictate it. You get to make the decisions. That's why it's called that, because multifamily is what's given me the freedom to, my nephews I don't have any kids. My nephews are some of the most important people in the world to me, and they live in 4 different states, and I can go see them when I want to. Nice. And that's the idea for me, is that it's important to me to do that. And so it's called the Multifamily CEO. And what you do is number one goal, we want to replace your income, help you live life on your terms. And in multifamily online training, you're going to get the foundations of multifamily, how you actually get into it. You're going to get your zero to retirement plan. Here's the point. You're going to say, if I have zero real estate, how do I actually replace my income and I could retire today? I hit that number at age 36 when my real estate paid for my bills and my life. And so my goal is to say, well, I want you to just hit that number where your real estate pays for your life. And so now anything else you do is just icing on the cake. We want to get real estate there, and I'm going to walk you through that exact plan. Then I'm going to teach you in this training how to find deals on your terms, because the deals is where it's at. If you don't have deals, you don't got nothing, right? And so you got to learn to keep that steady flow of deals. And then finding money and how to avoid overfunding. What this overfunding means is you have so much money backed up and you don't have any deals for it. And so I'm going to teach you how to find money, how to raise money from private investors, all the things you need to do that, and how to make sure that you don't create a long line at the door saying, I want to give you money, but you don't have any deals. How do you make sure you don't do that? And then I want to teach you to operate like a pro. Operate like a pro. Okay. And this is the first bonus, and I am pumped about this. We've done this before, and it's we calling it the Merry Christmas Roundup bonus. Number one is you're going to get seller financing secrets. I hope you've heard the term seller financing. It changed my life. Seller financing is just where the owner acts as the bank. You just make payments for the property. You don't have to go get a loan. A lot of times you don't have to come up with a bunch of money. You just get in deals right away. And I can't wait. We're going to actually give you live access to the Seller Financing Secrets online training. And by the way, we are actually going to record this live event January 9th. So actually, we recorded this event and had a tech glitch, and we're bringing it back. And the first 15 people today that enroll and come in are going to get to come to this event live.
Tell them about that, Mike. Stay there. You called me the other day like, Chris, the daggone Zoom.
Yeah, so you know how Chris's internet just went out. Well, tech glitches happen. So I recorded this day event. We had an 8-hour event, and I hit
what 30 people. I mean, you get this 30, is like a big thing.
I get at the end of it, and the recording didn't hold. And so I call up Zoom. I'm like, please tell me this is fake. And they're like, no, we don't have it. And so I'm panicking. I call Chris. I'm like, dude, you won't even believe it. He's like, you know what? Christmas is coming. Let's bring it back. Let's do it again. And let's offer my people another shot to come. And I said, all right, you got it. And so it's coming back. I am not running this event live again. I will make sure it is recorded this time. Even if I have to hire a video team, it will be recorded. And so this will be the last time I do this live. So the first 15 are going to get to actually be there live with me, get your questions answered during the event, and learn how to get seller financing. You can partner seller financing with multifamily, and what a sweet deal. Sweet deal. So first 15 are going to get to come to that live, but everybody that invests will get the training. Once the live training is done and all edited, you'll get that live training.
Gotcha.
A buddy of mine called me the other day, and he shot this to me. He's worked with consultants for years, but he said when he started working with me, he was able to close on his first 10 units, a mixed space, plus 3 lots to develop. That should say develop with an E. So he bought a piece of real estate. It's retail on the bottom. It's a restaurant. It's a retail, multifamily up top, and there's 3 lots across the street. He's going to develop into more multifamily. All because he took this training, and I walked him through how to locate that deal, how to negotiate, how to find the money for it. And now he locked that in. And that's the power. And he's actually become a really, really good friend of mine. That's the power of this training, because it really was me taking all my experience and all my mistakes and saying, just don't do this and don't make the mistakes I did. And because, man, if I could just go back, all the silly mistakes I made over here. Yeah, right. We could fill a whole day with that. And this is the bonus number 2 that I'm actually pumped about. At the end of the live training, I'm actually going to do a live group coaching session with anybody that invests today. So you're going to actually be able to stay on with me for a couple hours, and I'm just going to answer questions for you, right? And so now everybody that invests will get to come to this coaching. Only the first 15 will get to come to the event as well. But right as the event ends, the coaching everybody else can come in, and I'm going to do a live coaching group session right there with you, and you'll get access to me, get your questions answered. This is what I wish I had, because I was doing this. I'm like, what do I wish I had when I first started? I wish I had somebody that I could say, yeah, but what about this? Yeah, but what about this? I call them the yeah, but what-its. Like, what about this? What do you do when this happens? And that's what I want to do and provide for you guys. And so you can get started the right way, rather than
there is a right and the wrong way, Mike. I did it the wrong way for many, many years. I want people to know that there are 2 ways to do this business. The right way and the wrong way.
Well, and I think when I first started, I believed the lie, that I could figure it out. And I just wish I would have hired somebody like you, like me back then, and said, just tell me what to do and how I should be doing this. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to give you a bonus number 2. And I charge thousands of dollars to do one-on-one coaching just because my time is so limited. So you're going to get access to my brain for a little while and ask me specific questions. And so we put this whole thing together. So you get the Multifamily CEO online training, which is I've sold alone at $1,000.
That's a training course, right?
Yeah, it's over 30 videos of every aspect of multifamily. It's a course that literally, in my opinion, I have looked at a lot of the multifamily. It's the best online training that I have seen for multifamily because I've seen all of them and I've looked at them and bought them, most of them, and looked at what they did and what they didn't add. And I'm like, yeah, but they don't talk about actually talking to investors. What's the script you text to a potential investor? Well, that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so what do you actually do? And you get access to that inside that Multifamily CEO. And then you get lifetime access to SFS, which is the Seller Financing Secrets. You get lifetime access to that course, which is selling for $1,000, which will sell for $1,000 after we record it, because the value of one seller financing deal, oh my Lord, it's amazing. Then the private Facebook group where you get to connect with all the other people that have been a multifamily CEO. I think we have 80 people in our group right now that you can leverage lots of experience. And I've asked some experts to come in. Chris is in that group. My buddy Mike Wolf's in that group. And so when people post things, I post deals in that group sometimes. Hey, here's a deal I'm not taking. If you're interested, here's a deal. So I post deals in there usually once a week to twice a month. I'll throw a couple deals in there that you'll have access to first. And then, of course, that free group coaching call. And then this next thing that we're throwing in is maybe one of the things I'm most proud of. So not only will the first 15 get to enroll in Seller Financing Secrets Live, I'm actually going to give you my multifamily deal analyzer. This is a software I created. It's a spreadsheet that calculates all of the deal for you. So once you put in the sale price, it will automatically tell you your down payment. It'll tell you, it'll automatically calculate your debt service, like how much you have to borrow from the bank, what's your monthly mortgage payment, what's your yearly debt service. It does all this for you. These green boxes are the boxes you just need to go to the seller and say, I need this data. And you plug that in, and all the way down here, it says yearly numbers. It'll automatically tell you your cash on cash return, your cap rate. It'll tell you how much net return you're going to make. It does it for you. And this thing here is literally worth 20 times anything we would ask you to invest today, because this thing makes sure you don't get into a deal that will really be bad for you. And there's a whole philosophy. There's literally a psychology behind this analyzer that makes sure it protects you from bad deals. All these percentages of repairs and vacancy and all these things are built in there to make sure you're underwriting in a way that protects you from a bad deal. So this thing here is really, 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 really powerful. Because I got sick of doing it all on a napkin. I'm like, I need something every time. Exactly.
It kind of reminds me of my. Yep.
Oh, exactly. Yep. So this is the deal. And I have a video that goes over the entire analyzer, so you can you see exactly how to use it.
Okay.
In multifamily. So again, we're going to give you the Multifamily CEO training, this lifetime access to Seller Financing Secrets, access to the private Facebook group. I'm going to do a free group coaching call, and the Multifamily Deal Analyzer, and the first 15 get a free ticket to Seller Financing Secrets Live. Now, I will tell you this. Everything we just put together today is valued at $7,880, and I've sold it all separately for that. So this is literally, and that's not counting the analyzer. I don't even know how to value that because it saved me so much time and money. But this is the value. Well, of course, you and I both know I'm not going to charge you the value. We want to give you a deal today. So Chris and I started talking and said, this really is a $990. The best deal is $997. Well, then Chris says, well, yeah, but I'm doing 50% off on all my stuff. Can you do 50% off at $497? So I'm like, okay, so we're going to do one investment for all this for $497. And then as we start talking today, just before we popped on here, we said, listen, let's give one extra stocking stuffer at another $100 and give this entire batch for $397. Now, let me tell you something. Sweet. This is a couple of meals out to eat, and it could change your life. Number one, just the free ticket to Seller Financing Secrets. That content and having time with me asking questions, that alone is worth 5 times that investment. And the analyzer, everything in and of itself. And I tell you that not to brag, but to say, I am praying you take this so that your life can make that shift. I'm telling you, it's changed my life, and I really want to see it change yours. Mike Wolf, a buddy of mine who's also been with Chris, mentioned I've spoken at a lot of his events, that he says for years, I've had him speak at my event for years. He's the expert on multifamily. I only put that there so you know this is where I live. I eat, sleep, live, and breathe multifamily real estate. So when I say we want to give it for one investment of $397, you get all this stuff. This sale ends this week, and for the first 15, you'll get a free ticket to Seller Financing Secrets. Now, let me tell you, every time somebody invests, I'm actually going to send you a personal email. Yes, I have. I know that it's all automated. I'm going to send you a personal email that lets you know if you're one of the 15 or not. And then I'll give you your Zoom information. I'll give you access to the Facebook group. You'll get a kind of a concierge email, if you will, with all of your data. And it literally, I'm praying that as Chris and I were talking, I'm praying for all the people that do this, because I know it changed. This stuff changed my life, and I'm hoping it changes yours as well. I mean, Chris, you and I both talked about investing and stuff over the years. Talk a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, same thing with the training. Well, here's the thing with the private money. When I crossed that bridge, I felt like it was like an air under some wings on my plane. Now I get to fly. When I show up to make an offer, it's like, I don't care if it's 50, 60, 70, 120. We made an offer the other day. We bought one for 200. It's irrelevant to me, dude. How much is it? Okay, let's go get the cashier's check. It's just, you don't even think about it.
Yeah, it's
that portion, true.
Yeah, and the reason I say this is I know that for me, and this is what happened in 2012 when I started really getting building my speaking business in real estate. I said, I finally found out that the path to success was paved by the bricks of investment. I found out that the way to get there is by investing in myself. And every time I wanted to earn more, I needed to learn more. And that's when I started. That's when I started investing in. I think the link is there in the description of the video, right, Chris?
Yep. Roundup. Listen, Mike's giving us his Christmas special, all that stuff, $397. The link is in the video description. Half off plus another stocking stuffer. I like that. We got a bunch of Q&A, Mike. I got to get to this stuff before time runs out. Bring it, brother. Karen, is the discount 50% off just for the documents or two? Do they get the docs that they need, Mike, to do what they have to do?
Yeah. So when you get into here, you'll get into Multifamily CEO, and it's 6 or 7 modules of training on how to find deals, how to fund deals, and how to operate deals, plus a lot of added bonuses in that course. You'll get the analyzers. Actually, I attached it for this group in there, so it's right in there under the video that talks about it. Sweet. Then you're the Seller Financing Secrets. You're going to get that access to that once it's done and edited. And then and then you're also going to get that group coaching session right after the Seller Financing Secrets event. And again, that live training is only for the first 15 people, but you're going to get access to it. Yep.
Candace reading, I wrote the Real Estate Negotiating Bible. Thank you, Candace, for supporting my mission there with that book. You're gonna be a master negotiator after that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I had Chris on my podcast talking about that. That is a great resource. Man, I tell you, I wish I had that when I started too, man. Negotiating so much. Oh, how many dollars I left on the table because I didn't know how to negotiate? What the heck?
Oh, Lord. That book got me into it. I know the other day I was talking to my wife. She's like, Chris, I don't even want to talk to you. You did. You wrote the negotiating the book on negotiation. Yeah, I'm like,
no, that's funny because when you get in a marriage, some where you eat and sometimes that is a negotiation. You got to present your side.
Round up, we're here with Mike Fritz talking about multifamily investing with his Christmas special that is in the video description below. The link is there. Get rocking and rolling for 2021. Candace wants to know, how did you buy your first multifamily, Mike? Because you built it. Good God.
Yeah, I built my very first one. And then the way I bought my very first one, when I didn't build it, a lot of you will love this, especially if you want a house hack. I got an FHA loan. Which FHA loans are like 3.5% down. It was $100,000. I bought it for $3,500 down, and I moved in half, rented the other half out, and I actually made $100 after everything on that one.
First time home buyer type of deal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's for your first time home buyers, but here's what I realized. It doesn't actually have to be your first home you've ever purchased.
This time frame.
It just has to be this time frame that you don't know. And it needs to be the home you're going to live in.
They have their little qualifying thing. First time home buyer doesn't mean that you're a first time buyer.
Exactly. And that's when I first heard that, I thought, I've already bought a home. I can't use that. That's not true. A lot of fix and flippers use it all the time. Yep. And so you can use that loan. And so I bought my first one. I was $100,000. I bought it and I moved in. My wife and I moved. There was a 3-bedroom unit and a 2-bedroom. We moved into the 3-bedroom, lived there. It was a really nice little place. Still own it, actually.
Good, good.
And it's a great way to do it. That little duplex makes really good money. Makes me $500 or $600 a month today.
Sweet, sweet. James wants to know, have you ever purchased a multifamily property on a master lease?
Okay, good question. Where somebody owns the entire multifamily? No, most of mine are leased out to the individual tenant in which lives in that unit. So I've never purchased one that owns whether. And a lot of times that works with industrial or retail. They own the entire space, and so no. Mine are mainly to residential tenants that have their lease inside that building. Good question though.
Kevin Ridley. Hey, Kevin. Merry Christmas, everybody, by the way. Thank you for showing up. We've got 80 people on here today. Kevin, where is the best place to find multifamily units?
Good question. So there's a bunch of them. So there's not one. Jack Canfield told me or said one time, there's not one way to do 50 things successful. There's 50 ways to do one thing.
Get that best. Yeah, Kevin, get that best there. I do it too. I'm like, what's the best? Get that out of there.
Yeah, exactly. So I work with a lot of brokers, real estate agents, and I call commercial agents and say, hey, do you have anything in my property profile? I ask them, and I call, like, if I'll just go online, commercial agents in Atlanta, Georgia, start calling. What do you have in this range? Nothing. What do you have? And I'll just start calling the living daylights out of people on real estate brokers and see what they have. And you can go to realtor.com and type in multifamilies in X space. Just be careful you don't get yourself into hot water, because right now they're really inflated. You need to find good deals.
Yeah. Candace wants to know, how much do you pay the property manager? A good one.
Oh, good question. Yeah. So it depends on you. A key percentage is 10%. Like if you just plan on 10%, that will usually keep you safe. But the more units you have, the more you can negotiate that. Like this building I got right here that I just showed today, I'm going to get that at 5% because my manager manages hundreds of units in that area.
You got a discount on the last one.
Yeah. And I did. I got a discount on the last one. Every single one now. I basically tell her this is how much I can afford, and she's like, "That's fine," because she does so much work for me.
That's not.
I'm fair with her. I want her to win, because to me, if it's not a win-win, it's not a win. And so I need to make sure I want to pay my manager as much as possible, because truth is, your property is only as good as your managers. You want to pay them as much as possible.
You're right.
And so. Absolutely.
I wasn't reading it. Chris reading a book now. Oops, sorry about that, y'all. Wow, it's got a million questions. Kevin wants to know, what are the tax implications of owning out-of-state property?
Tax implications of owning out-of-state. Great question. Depends on how it's structured. If you have an LLC, you'll get taxed, and you'll have to. I'm not an attorney or a CPA. Please talk to your attorney or CPA. The way we do it is our properties are taxed, the LLC, based on the state they're in, and then they all come into our personal income tax, and then it's taxed through our personal income tax, which we live in Arizona, so we pay the Arizona tax for the money we make from it. How the property is taxed, of course, the property tax you pay per state. And then the actually income from it, usually you get taxed based on the state you live in. But again, talk to your CPA and your attorney about that.
Stanky Booty. Lord have mercy. What's that? Roundup? Come on. Y'all making me. Can you max out by making it utilities included?
Okay, good question. Yeah. So should you have included utilities included? I always want the tenants to pay for their own utilities. Now, if you buy a property that's on 1 meter, you really can't do that. Here's why I like that. I want every tenant to pay their own utilities, because when I'm paying the bill, windows tend to be left open and lights tend to be left on all the time. They don't care if the lights are on because they don't pay on the bill. And so I want them to make sure that they're turning the lights off behind their kids, because it's on my dime, right? But when it's on their dime, they tend to think of that automatically. So I want them to pay the utilities. But if it's on 1 meter, I just raise rents higher because to absorb that cost.
Gotcha. I think we covered that. Candace, how often do you visit the property? Candace, what is private money? Where are the lenders coming from? What contracts do you need? She's got some phenomenal questions. Is all that stuff going to be help her in the course, Mike?
Yes, it will. Where you find them, how you talk to them, what kind of contracts you need, what structures you need. It's all in the Multifamily CEO course. I have a
Sweet.
whole module in there about raising private money. Oh, and by the way, with the Multifamily CEO course, this won't be forever, but for Chris's people, I'm doing this. I am actually reshooting that course in 2021. You will get lifetime access to any changes that ever happen. Because I'm going to continue to update it as the market changes. But next year, we're going to make it so people have to renew every year. But because this is happening this year, you will never have to renew. You'll get lifetime access to it all. And
Thanks,
so as I
Mike.
even make the changes to private money, if the laws change or whatever, then you'll get access to all that stuff.
Patricia R wants to know, how do the private lenders make money, Mike, if you buy and hold?
Okay. So yeah, if you buy and hold, so if it's a private lender, you just make a monthly payment to them based on their percentage that they charge you. So let's say they're loaning you 100 grand at 6%. You make a monthly payment to them, just like you would a bank.
Yep.
If it's a private equity partner, you pay them. I pay every quarter. So every quarter, however much net profit there is going to them, I just write them a check for that net profit. Now, if they own 50%, I'll take the net profit, I'll split it in half, I'll write them 50, I'll write me 50, and it's good. If they have 70%, I'll write them 70%, me 30%. Every quarter, I go over the books, I look at our profit and make sure we have enough reserves in there if something happens, and I write out the distributions. And that's how I do that.
Sweet. I love the way you say every quarter. Some people they can't. I remember we said the right and the wrong way. Private money, guys, you get to structure the terms between you and the people. There are no set fees. It's whatever you guys agree on.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yep, that's exactly right. It's just like a hard money lender in the sense the hard money lender will often tell you this is what I need. Well, with private money, it's more negotiable, because it might be somebody it might be somebody you saw at Thanksgiving this year or saw virtually on Thanksgiving this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, right.
I won't say this name. Is a license needed to charge the acquisition fees? Yeah.
Is the license? No, it's not. It's not. You will have to have I would tell you to set up some sort of LLC entity, which you can do online. You can do Mike Fritz Real Estate, and Mike Fritz Real Estate owns the portion of that building. But so when you get paid, you just claim that money. So no,
Gotcha.
I mean, you can even put it as a consulting fee. Because that's really what it is. You're consulting on the property and they're buying what property you think you should be buying.
I love that consulting fee. Consulting fee. I mean, that could be anything under the sun.
It could be anything, right? Exactly. Yep.
Round up, as we get out of here, make sure you head over to the link in the video description. Get Mike's Christmas special. All this stuff you see on here on the screen, less than the price of going out to eat 2 times. I mean, dinner, going out with the family. You're investing in your future. If all you got was being able to understand how this private money work and locating these houses, worth a few dollars. Mike, thank you so much for joining us, brother.
It's my pleasure, Chris. It's always my pleasure to hang out with you, and I hope to see every single one of you at some point in our Facebook group, or at least for first 15 at Seller Financing Secrets.
Yep.
And by the way, in the multifamily course, there's comment sections on all the videos. So if you have questions, you throw that in there. My team comes back and answers that. So it's almost like it makes sure you're supported through the course.
Yeah.
And so I hope to see you all in there because I know what this stuff did for me. It changed my life. And I'm telling you, I mean, you put this on a card, you still get 30 days to go and make the money, and you can be 30 days down the road. I'm telling you, change your life.
Nice. And the special ends in a few days, y'all. This isn't going to be this is just for my roundup peeps.
Yep, that's right. I literally am offering this to nobody else.
Thank you, Mike.
I appreciate you, Chris.
Kathy, do you think the student housing dorms will change due to the COVID?
The answer is
okay. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris. Was there more to that question?
I just got a call asking if I would be interested in doing multi-student housing for college. Remembering the parents will be paying.
That's a great question. And the answer is it all depends on what school it's by. So for me, I invested by Notre Dame. It has one of the richest histories in the world. Notre Dame ain't going anywhere. And Notre Dame ain't going virtual. People, literally, they have monuments that people come to see. I mean, Notre Dame has, like I say, one of the richest histories in the world. They just put $700 million into a graduate program building. That place ain't going nowhere. So for me, when I'm investing into student housing by a campus, I want to make sure that campus has deep roots. If you're investing by Ohio State, I don't think you got any problems. If you're investing by a community college, I think you might have some problems, and I would not do that. So it all depends on the quality of the school. So I am investing in the student housing only because of the rich history. I wouldn't do that just anywhere.
Gotcha.
Great question, though.
Kareem Beckham. Hey, where is the location for the session for the first 15 going to be? Are you going to email that out, Mike?
Yep. So as soon as you invest, you'll get a concierge email from me, and it'll just have all your details. So give me, like, after you invest, give me a few hours, give me maybe even that evening to make sure I can get back to everybody. But I have an email that's ready to go that'll have all your data, your Zoom info for the multifamily, or I'm sorry, for the seller financing secrets. It'll have your Facebook info. It'll have the deal analyzer will actually be attached there, the updated one. And so you'll have all that stuff will be packed in that email for you.
Yep. I see Kareem. I see 2 came in already. We got 13 left for that one, Kareem. Good question. Kim, how many Zoom meetings come with the multifamily CEO? Did you say 30?
How many? Say that again.
Oh, how many? Did she mean Zoom trainings or Zoom meetings?
She probably meant how many people, how many tickets for that seller financing. That's 15.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, 13 now, Mike. It's two already gone.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Yeah, so 13 left. So make sure you get over there and snag that, because, like I say, Chris and I did this we did something similar, not this exact thing, a while ago, and those tickets got ate up. So just go
gone.
and get it. Yeah.
Troy, Mike, I attended the single family seller financing training for a while earlier. He's mad it wasn't recorded. Me too. Will I be able to attend this January since it wasn't recorded? That's a good question.
Yes. If you bought one of our tickets for the previous event and it wasn't recorded, you're gonna get a ticket to come and join us because it wasn't recorded. And of course, we're gonna make sure you get everything that you invested in. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh man, this is great stuff. Oh man, the realtor is here. Tamika Henry. She's a beast realtor.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mike. That's what Priceless W says.
Good. I'm so glad you guys are here. And I'm telling you, Chris and I are going to continue to impact people in the future. But this putting all this together was fun because we really think this is going to tip the needle for you.
Yeah, I already know. Ain't no thing to it. I know. I mean, I always see it. Mike, final thoughts. We're getting out of here, man. We got 80 people on here. No more questions.
Gotta go.
Thoughts? Yep.
Got to go. I'm telling you. So again, I told you the 3 things you needed to do to shift your mindset. One of those things is brainwash out and get mentorship. And this is one of the reasons why we put this together. I want to shift that for you. And that's why this was put together, to fix to that and to give you some proximity to people. This is the package that can tip the needle for you and get you to that first multifamily deal, which that law of the first deal changes everything.
Yep.
And so how to find deals, how to find money, how to operate like a pro. That's what this does. And plus, I just want to meet you. I want to meet great people who love real estate and love people. And I want to meet you. So hopefully we'll get a chance to meet and maybe even do a deal together someday. Who knows? Yeah,
it's so weird. Mike is the guy that you can actually get him on the phone. Not all the time. He's not, I'm thinking about a lot of guys that I deal with. I mean, I got to set a meeting out a week, 2 weeks to get in touch with these guys. Mike will make himself available, Mike. And once again, I'm just honored that you do that.
Chris, well, first of all, I'm honored to be able to partner with you. But, one of the things I'm even talking about in 2021 is how to continue to build teams that free up my time to spend more time with people. And that's what I really love to do, because you get so caught up in the business and you realize, man, I don't have a lot of time right now.
That's right.
And so you want to build teams so you can hang out with your peeps. Yep. And that's why we do this. So I'm honored, my friend.
Yeah, man. So Troy, he's going to send you an email for that. I guess you're going to let your old peeps know about that.
Yeah. Training. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'll let everybody that came in last time that we're doing it again, and they're invited.
Sweet. Somebody just signed up. Got another sign up, Kareem. Thank you so much, Kareem. Awesome. Wow. Saving. You got the fund and grow. Kevin Ridley. This has been amazing information. I agree. I like talking to Mike. On the information. Cool. Okay. Listen, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I'm not scared to say there, happy holidays.
No,
Merry Christmas, y'all. I love you guys. I do this. I take time out of my day. I firmly believe that if I don't do this, I don't even know it's going to get done. So I do things that need to get. My dad's like, my kids are like, what do you have to do? What do you have to do today? I do things that need to get done. They need to get done. I'm sure Mike's the same way. When you're down there looking at these houses, making offers, dealing with realtors, brokers, lenders, all that stuff, you do the stuff that needs to get done, right? So investing in your future is one of the things Mike that's spending an unbelievable amount of time with my rounduppers. Thanks. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas to you guys. Have a great week. Hope to see you at the event.
Yep, videos. Go to that link in the video description, y'all. Sign up. The discount will end in a few days, Sunday. Like the content, share, and I'll see you soon. The prop stream giveaway is tonight. Make sure you join the email list. Peace, everybody. I love you. Merry Christmas.
See y'all.